Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that you're doing all right now, and that no matter when you're listening to this or where on the planet, that you're taking all these changes in stride and you're making allowances for yourself when need be. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about loyalty. Loyalty is one of those things that if you pledge it, you have to keep it, right? You know, it's part of your integrity. Integrity is what you say you're going to do and then you do it. You keep your word. When I was growing up, being a man of your word was something important. You know, it's what I was taught. You have to, if you're going to say something, you have to do it. If you're going to make a commitment to something, you have to follow through. And if you don't think you could commit to something, you know, like say you think you can go, you want to go, but in the end you decide you're not going to go. But if you said you're definitely going to be there, then you've just broken your bond, your word, and you're going to become a person that people think of as untrustworthy. So if you were kind of not thinking you may or may not be somewhere, you say, I will try to make it, but I'm not sure. That way, you are still a man or woman of your word. You're not sure. You hope. You're hoping you can go. You think you might, but you're not really sure. Or whatever, you know, the commitment is. If you say you may or may not, then the universe knows that you may or may not. And if you do or do not go, or do the thing or not do the thing that you committed to, then you have not broken your bonds with yourself, with the other person, or with the universe. But if you say, I'm definitely going to be there, and then you don't go, the universe sees that you're not a very serious person. And how likely is it going to bring all the things that you want to create? What are the odds that the universe is going to send you? If you send the universe mixed signals by your actions, what are the odds the universe is going to send you exactly what you want? And is it going to be on time? Like, probably not, right? If you're always breaking your promises, if you're promising something and always breaking your promise, then you're looking like a flake to other people. You're probably feeling like a flake to yourself. And you're probably also feeling that you're maybe untrustworthy yourself. Like you don't believe in your own trustworthiness. And then it gets to a point where you can't even trust yourself. And other people won't trust you. And why would the universe trust you if that's the energy you're putting out there? That's the energy you're attracting. I mean, over my years, I've had friends that were true blue, loyal to the bone. You know, they say they're going to do something, they do it. And I've had the other kind of friend that says they're going to do something and you don't freaking hear from them. You know, or they say they'll definitely be there and 3 weeks later, they call you up like nothing happened. It's like, wait, where were you, man? And I know people that are absolutely sticklers for time. If you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. You say you're going to be there at 2, you damn well better be there at 1:55, and your car better be parked, and you better be waiting at the front door already. I've had friends like that. You know, I've had friends that say, hey, it's 2:01, you're late. It's like, I rolled in at 2 o'clock. I was parking the car, you know. But the universal waiting time, which isn't really universal, it's more like United States universal, is 15 minutes. You know, you give people leeway. You know, maybe there was a traffic accident. Maybe somebody died. You know, maybe someone's mom needed help at the last minute, whatever it is. You know, you try your best to be on time, and if you're not on time, you damn well better not be 16 minutes late, 15 minutes late, with a damn good excuse and an apology at the ready, and a willingness to do a favor for the other person in the future. I mean, that's the world where I came from anyway. That's, you know, most of the people I've known my whole life, this is pretty much how things are, you know. And you have to tell people I'm on my way. You have to telescope it out. I'm going to be there. I'm leaving. I'm walking. I'm almost there, you know. Now, it's different in different cultures. Like my ex-boyfriend in Peru, when we first started dating, he would say, okay, I've taken a taxi to your neighborhood. I'm walking to your door right now. I'm on my way. You know, and I'm like, okay, great. So I'd get ready. I'd go stand outside. And 20 minutes later, I get an email from him saying, a text saying, I've just arrived. And then I'm looking around going, I know I have face amnesia, but that old homeless dude over there doesn't look like the guy I'm going to meet. So, but is it him? And I mean, after 2 or 3 random strangers walk by, I'm like, Renato? like I forgot what he looked like maybe. You know, because I do have face amnesia, and sometimes I don't remember people. Sometimes I don't remember people's names, faces, or anything. And I'm just like, I have no idea who you are. But I mean, I've met thousands and thousands and thousands of people in my life. And so it's really hard to keep track. Especially like the other day when someone wrote me from 3 years ago. It's like, I'm supposed to remember you from one conversation we had online 3 years ago. Like, and I kind of did after he reminded me how I knew him. But in Ecuador, you're never supposed to be early. If someone says be there at 2, they expect you at 2:30. And if you show up between 2 and 2:30, you're a little bit rude. If you show up before 2, you're extremely rude. You know, people tell you the time that they want you there because they know that everyone's 30 minutes late. That's just the culture. So you have to kind of make leeways for stuff like that in regards to the society you find yourself in. You know, maybe if you're in a subculture in the United States, the time isn't, you know, maybe it's lax. I'll see you in the afternoon. Well, afternoon starts at noon and ends around 5 or 6 at night, maybe, for your crowd. It's different. You know, different things are, you know, different groups, different societies, different cultures, and subcultures. But when it comes to loyalty, I mean, it's not just about showing up on time. Loyalty goes really deep, you know, like if you commit to somebody and, for example, you marry them, you know, very, very committed, and you're very loyal to them. Well, what happens if they turn out not to be the person that you signed on with in the beginning? When I was going through my divorce and I was at the mediator's office, and I said, you know, I don't know what happened, but he's not the man that I married. Because the man I married wouldn't act the way he's been acting. And I don't understand what happened, but he's not the person that I signed on with. He's like a different man. And she just looked at me and she said, you know what? that's always true. You never divorce the person you married. Otherwise, you'd still stay married to them. So what happens if you make a commitment or a loyalty to somebody like that, and then you divorce them? Does that break your bond with the universe? Well, it depends on why you're divorcing them, And if you've committed to someone and they've changed and you've grown apart, that's not going to break your commitment with you're not going to not be able to trust yourself. Well, maybe you might go through a period of that where you feel like, God, my picker's broken and I just screwed up and I don't know how to pick men or women, and and you go through a period of time where you're like, you don't trust yourself. How could you trust yourself to pick someone? Because look, the one you picked, how they turned out. You bought a car, it turned out to be a lemon. You married a woman, she ended up being a really horrible person. So does that break your bond with the universe as far as, you're being a worthy candidate, trustworthy, having integrity? I don't think it does. Because you have to do what's right for you first, right? And your first and only responsibility is to yourself. So your number one loyalty should not lie with other people. Your number one loyalty should lie with yourself and with whatever version of God you feel the closest with. Your bond with God, the creator, prime creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it, Yahweh, Allah, whatever word you're going to use to describe that greater power than yourself, your number one priority is to show your creator that you matter to yourself, that you're loyal to yourself. So if you're not in alignment with who you're meant to be because of a person you're married to or in a relationship with or in bed with as far as work is concerned, your career. I was watching Working Moms. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this really hilarious show. It's a brand new show. They just finished they just released the second season, and then like a month later released the third season. But the seasons are like 10 episodes or 12 episodes. Anyway, there's one woman in the show where she's a public relations person and she wants to go out on her own, and she's not getting any clients, and she's like struggling to land like a vegan restaurant who are like, they're like all, we're moral, we're socially conscious, we're this, we're that, and they're just kind of like a really small fish, right? And she's trying to go for the bigger clientele to keep her business afloat. And she ends up representing a guy who killed a rhinoceros that is going, a species is going extinct. And she was kind of roped into it because all of her employees hadn't been paid in a month or whatever. And so she's stuck. She's stuck representing this rhinoceros guy, and then the backlash for that, And so does the universe look at her and say, if this was like a real scenario, would the universe look at her and go, well, you should have been loyal to the rhinoceroses, and you should have been loyal to who you are as a person, because that's not right, and you never should have represented this guy? Or would the universe go, well, it's okay that you maybe didn't fit your loyalty along moral grounds because you had a greater loyalty to your people that you pay, your employees. You have to keep them from walking out, and you owe them money, and then beyond that, there's even a higher level to it that she would be responsible for putting food on the table, paying her rent, taking care of her children. She's co-parenting with her husband, and they were, they're both paying the bills. And so her number one loyalty would be to herself, and even though she doesn't want to be known as the woman who represented the rhino guy, Nobody does. No one wants to do that work or be that person, but sometimes you have to do something you don't like because you have a greater loyalty to the people around you, your family, and yourself. And I'm not saying that you should be immoral or walk a slippery slope to, just be a shark going around getting what you want. Not at all. But you have to see it that there's a lot of components to the loyalty thing. And I was thinking today, because someone contacted me recently who had a relationship with a narcissist. And, if you fall in love with a narcissist and they pretend and lie and say they're in love with you, because people that are narcissists, and as well as psychopaths and sociopaths, although psychopaths don't try to form human bonds. I was with someone who wanted a bond with me so badly, but he kept saying he's a psychopath, which he really truly wasn't. He was just a very lonely person, and he was just trying to say whatever he thought was cool. He's a lot younger than me, and I guess he saw a couple movies that impressed him somehow, and so he's like, yeah, that's me, totally. And he was just a lost person. He just was looking for love, and he was capable of love, and he did, I think he did love me, honestly, but anyway, psychopaths don't normally form human connection bonds, and sociopaths will if they can get something out of it, and narcissists will because they definitely get something out of it. And narcissists will, they love bomb you. They will tell you every wonderful thing in the book. They'll be so romantic. They'll say, I love you way too fast. They will get you whatever way they can, whether they play the victim. I've had a lot of men try to get me by saying that they're a widow and they have a little kid, and they feel bad because they don't get to see their kid. And anyone in that situation would be saying that, right? But if they had to work overseas or whatever. But I've had men actually use that as a way to get their hooks into me. And I see right through it. So I'm like, well, good luck with that. I don't feel like raising anyone's little kids. So, hey, I've already done that for 20 years. Good luck, though. I'll pray for you. Maybe you'll find your woman. Like I'll back out of it gracefully as I can, because it's like, no way I'm gonna you're handing me a bouquet of red flags, not red roses, dude. Like, no way. But narcissists, sometimes you can't tell. You can't always tell if you know all the signs and the boundaries and stuff, but you can't always tell, especially if you're not trained to tell. And most people are not. That should be just as that. When you're little, you get to learn the basics, tying your shoes, your colors, your numbers, your alphabet, and then you go to school and they leave out the biggest points of what your education should be. How to have your own business, how to be an entrepreneur, how to have a website. Those should be things that grade school kids should start to learn from the beginning. My kids did, but I homeschooled them. How to do household chores, how to have a garden, how to build stuff, like how to build a house. Those are things. My kids didn't learn how to build a house. I wish they would have. There was a school in Oregon. We were trying to move to Oregon for a while. There was a school in Oregon that taught kids organic permaculture, how to grow your own organic garden. And there were also classes on how to build a house. There's some very basic life skills that most people are missing, But anyway, but when and I think that all grade schoolers and even especially junior high and high school kids should learn about all about narcissism, and how to protect yourself against someone like this, because they will prey upon your weakness, and if they're preying upon you, that means you're an empath, and you're very loving and you're very sweet, and you keep giving people the benefit of the doubt. You keep making excuses for them. and you keep saying, well, maybe he didn't mean that, or maybe he wasn't aware. It's okay. He wasn't aware. She wasn't aware. She didn't know what she was saying. Well, you know what? Usually, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Very recently I had someone put me in a very bad position financially, and they're demanding a lot of money from me. And in the end, it's going to end up being in my favor. It's a really good thing, but it's an excellent thing, actually. But, I wasn't told all the information, and now I've got to pay this massive fee, because he made a mistake. So I'm literally paying financially for somebody else's mistake. Although once I'm able to pay for their mistake, I'm going to come out ahead, like really, really, really far ahead. So it's not a whole 100% bad thing, but this person that I'm working with, unfortunately, is a narcissist. And so when I said that I don't have, the money, and I've been making about $1.50 to $2.50 a night from my podcast, he started mocking me and making fun of me. And they started sending memes to mock me. And I'm like, I dare you to start it. Let me see how fast you can make money. For real, It's not as easy as it looks, and it's not as easy as you think. And in time, I'll build this up, and in time I'll be able to support myself, which is why I started 14 months. Well, actually more than that. I started a year and a half before I need to be completely independent, right? So I'm doing my best, and I am actually advertising, and you guys are advertising for me. By the way, thank you. At least one of you has put some information on your email list, and I've had I think other people have been tweeting, retweeting me on Twitter, and I really appreciate that, and mentioning me to their people on Instagram also. So my audience is growing, and I'm glad, because we need to get the word out, because if I'm helping you, then chances are I'll be able to help other people. And that's what I'm here for. So I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can and make a living doing the thing I love, which is my passion, which is this, because I'm being loyal to myself. And I'm doing this every day because I'm being loyal to you guys. 240 episodes, by the way. Tonight is 240 episodes in a row. I'm almost there. My goal is 365, and I'm going to keep going. After that, too. I told myself 2.5 years, but the first goal is to hit 365. But so what happens if you get into this situation with somebody who is a narcissist, and at first they're all sweet and loving, and you're just like, you can't believe your good fortune, what a wonderful person, they're so loving and wonderful, and they're paying attention to you, and they're pushing all the right buttons, saying all the right things. They're too good to be true. Even your friends tell you, oh, they're too good to be true, probably. And you're like, be quiet. Let me enjoy this. This is my happiness. Why are you butting in my relationship? You find yourself saying these things to your friends. Your friends are probably right. You're never going to want to admit it to yourself, or especially not to them, because you want to be right. You want to find that happiness and that love and that joy right away, right? But so what happens if you get involved with somebody and then you feel like, well, I have to be loyal to them because I pledged my loyalty? I'm here to tell you right now, your first and only and primary loyalty is to yourself. You put that oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your own baby, right? Because what happens if you put the oxygen mask on your baby and then you die because you didn't put it on yourself first? Or you have to be able to watch your kids. So you have to put it, oxygen mask goes on yourself when that airplane's going down. I mean, it's only gonna be 1 extra second, right? Because you're gonna hustle like you've never hustled before if you're in that situation. You're putting that thing on you immediately and then on your baby immediately. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. It's not like you're gonna wait 30 minutes and then do it, right? Obviously not. Your first loyalty is to yourself, because we're born alone and we're going to die alone. Even if you are married for 50 years and absolutely in love with someone who's a wonderful person just like you, in the end, even if they're at your bedside holding your hand, when you die, after you leave your shell of your body, you're still on your own. No one's going to hold your hand to walk down the tunnel with you, to walk towards the light. Just like when you were born, you had to come down that tunnel. Literally and figuratively. It's not even metaphor. It's actually, there's a tunnel to get here too. A tunnel to leave and a tunnel to get here. So your first and foremost priority is yourself. Does that mean that you're forsaking others if you leave them because they're narcissists that treat you bad? No. It's a form of love, loving yourself. It's very important. And you show your love for God by loving yourself. You show your love for the universe and your gratitude by protecting yourself and doing right for yourself and doing good for you. And you show your children, if you're able to leave a narcissist, if you're a man and you've got children and you end up in a relationship, say you're already divorced and you end up in a relationship with a narcissist, you're showing love for yourself and your children when you leave a narcissist who has hurt you all, right? It's better for you to have your loyalty. You have to know who and where and what your loyalties should be. So I'm telling you right now, your number one priority is yourself. It's not being a narcissist to put yourself first. Clinical narcissism comes from how a person is raised. It's not, you don't become a narcissist because you dated one, although you might have similar behaviors for a while. And eventually that fades away when you start knowing who you are again. Because sometimes narcissists are so charismatic that they will take over your world and your personality even for a while. But eventually you go back to who you truly are at your core, and that's a good person. You have the light of God within you. You discover your own personal freedom and your own personal power. And you empower yourself by being loyal to yourself. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that, because if you are in that position where you're trying so hard to hold a marriage together that's not working because the other person is incapable of love, it's not going to, it's not going to hurt them, except for the fact that they feel like their ego is dying because they don't have someone to pay attention to them. But they'll find another victim, right? Or they'll find a therapist and figure themselves out and get over that, which is extremely hard. Most narcissists think there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They're great. And I was talking to my son tonight about, I'm invited to a party tomorrow night, and I was deciding whether I should go or not. And the last interaction I had with this person, he asked me, we had a really fun time. We had a couple hours just hanging out, drinking a beer or whatever. He had a gin and tonic. I can't stand gin, so I was like, yeah, I'll just have a beer or whatever. And so we're just hanging out, talking, eating tacos. It was just really chill, And then he said, why did your last relationship break up? I'm like, oh God, he was such a narcissist. And this guy said, I said, well, because he was a narcissist, there's no way I could, be in a relationship with a narcissist again. And he said, oh, I am totally a narcissist. Oh yeah, that's totally me. I am so into myself. I am such a narcissist. Oh yeah, it's good to know. Sometimes narcissists will just admit it freely. They see nothing wrong with being that. And if someone ever says that to you from the first get-go, now you know. It makes it easy, right? Oh, well, we could be friends. Never gonna be in a relationship with you, though. Not even gonna go to bed with you. Not even for one night. It's like, no, that's never gonna happen. Well, thanks for telling me. Saving my life, saving my time. But I've been like, oh, well, if I go, maybe I'll meet someone there. And I was talking to my son about it, and my son is really, both my kids are so wise, and I can't take the blame for it. The blame, I don't know, credit, whatever. I think that they were both born with this higher vibratory knowledge is just embedded inside them, and they're both really smart. And my son said, Mom, do you really want to start building your social circle based on a narcissist and his friends? They might all be empaths, but if they're like friends with him, they're also a victim of the narcissism, right? Possibly, maybe not. And he says, and look at all the other people he's been hanging out with that you do know. Do you really want those people to be your social circle? And then he started pointing out, like, okay, out of all those people, he started naming the names of people that we know that know this person. And I'm like, yeah, to be honest, out of the whole crowd, they're all like single men because they can't find anyone to be with them because of how they are. And then the only person that does have a relationship is the only person worth knowing out of the group. And he's already living with his girlfriend. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's true. So why should I even be loyal enough to go to someone's party when I know that they're already a narcissist, right? They're already going to try to make me a victim, so that I could become their supply, like a vampire seeking blood. I don't want to be that, right? So as much as I want to go out tomorrow night, I kind of feel like I'm probably not going to go. I'm probably going to stay home, and be loyal to myself. Because that's what I have to do. I have to show the universe that I'm serious about myself. I love myself, and I'm serious about my life. And if I'm serious about my life, why would I want to play with my own heart like that? Put my heart on the line with someone who could give a crap less about me in the long run. So with every interaction and every decision that you make, you have to be loyal to your own self. You have to be the living, shining, beautiful example for your friends and your neighbors and your family and your children, your best friends, your sisters, brothers. By putting yourself first, and then they're a very close second, though. Not to the point where you're loyal to yourself and you ignore everybody, but you're loyal to yourself first. You have to see and check in with yourself. If someone says something to you or asks you to do something and you feel like a weird sense of loyalty to them because they're your significant other or someone you're starting to date or your boss or a family member or a friend, and if you feel like a ooh sort of feeling in your gut, or in your solar plexus or your heart chakra, and you feel like a resistance or a drag energy, then you have to be loyal to yourself and say no. Learn to say no. Learn to be assertive. Not aggressive, but assertive with it. And this goes for men as well as women. I'm talking to everybody here because men are just as much victims of narcissistic women as women are of narcissistic men. Narcissism, it's something that occurs in all genders and in all societies, by the way. You can't just fly off to Thailand and never meet a narcissist. You've got narcissists all over the world. It's a psychological condition that occurs because of the way someone's raised. Usually with parents that just don't give a crap about them. It's very, very sad, and my heart goes out to all the narcissists in the world. I feel bad for them and I love them, but I don't need to have them at my table or in my bed or in my life or in my business. I wish them well, but I cut them loose. Because I've learned how to be strong about this and loyal to myself. Just because a person is a person and you think, well, we all are one and hippy dippy love fest. Yeah, that's all well and good. And it is true. But you also have to be pragmatic about it. You got to love people, but you don't have to love them so much that George Bush is eating at your table for dinner every night. You know, you don't have to invite Donald Trump to the christening of your granddaughter, right? Because we all are one. Hell no. Love everybody, but be careful who you spend time with. And what message is that sending to the universe about you and to other people about you? And pay attention to your own personal integrity. And with every action you take, you're sending a message to yourself and the universe about your integrity and about your loyalty to yourself. If you stand 100% in integrity, and every time you do something you say you're going to do, the universe will bend to your will. And that's how you manifest really super fast. All right, we're going to get off this topic right now, and we're going to go into, first things first, 99 on the Ascension Symptom Scale today. I did feel it. I've been feeling sharp shooting pains in my ears as if I have had an ear infection, even though I'm not sick. I don't have a fever. I don't have an ear infection at all. You know, one way to tell is if you put a Q-tip in your ear and then you smell it. If it smells really horrible, if it smells like nothing, then you're fine. But if it smells horrible, then you have an ear infection. That's one form of ear infection. But I've been having these sharp shooting pains in my ears, occasionally sharp shooting pains in my legs, like it's growing pains, which is, I mean, yeah, I would love to be 5'6". Yes, universe. But I'm 5 feet tall and 1/4 inch. So I'm not actually growing, but it's like the feeling of growing pains. Do you guys remember that when you're 6, 7, 8 years old and your legs started to grow and how much it hurt at night? I mean, I remember laying in bed just crying. Both of my kids laid in bed and cried. Like, it hurt so much, the growing pains. I'd have to give my kids like Tylenol sometimes when it got really bad. When I was a kid, they gave me aspirin because nobody knew that you're not supposed to have aspirin until you're 18 or more, until you're fully grown, because of Ray's syndrome, Rye syndrome, whatever. But so what was the other? I came with and every time I look in the mirror, I look like a different person. I mean, I do have face amnesia, but obviously, clearly I know my own face. But like today, I started looking super young again. Like a few days ago, I was looking old again. It was like weird. It was like, whoa. It's like we're just changing all the time, constantly. And I looked like I was 19 today for a little while. I don't know that I look like that right now. But about 2 hours ago, I looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa, I didn't recognize myself almost. It's like, damn, I look like I was 19. I'm a fresh-faced teenager again all of a sudden. Castor oil, by the way, gets rid of 10 years off your face overnight. Just put it on your face, go to sleep, wake up 10 years younger. If it doesn't work, keep doing it for a week. Just castor oil. and then coconut oil will fill in the wrinkles, because usually it's not really wrinkles. Usually it's just moisturizing necessary. The moisturizing is necessary. It's like, take care of your moisturizing needs. Be loyal to your own face. But so some of the Ascension symptoms are starting to shift again. We're getting a little bit extra, like the sharp shooting ear pains, and I've been having laser sharp focus in some things, and then followed by absolutely I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, and I just kind of go unconscious for a few hours. And then like all of a sudden it's like been 3-4 hours, and it's like, what have I been doing? What was I thinking or doing, or like losing track of time? But I cleaned today, Virgo new moon, guys. Take advantage. It's a double Virgo this time, and it's a super moon, meaning it's the second one in the month. And I cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. My son was out camping and he came home. He's safe. Everything's fine. And he said it was beautiful, and he was grateful to know that there are pine trees, just like in California, here in Ecuador. So he's not missing out. We have a great love of pine trees in my family, and he was so happy. He's like, yeah, it was actually pine trees and it smelled good, and I said, well, maybe I'll get a chance to get out there sometime. But I have to make my show every night, and he was gone for like 30 hours, and just for one night trip, and I couldn't do that to you guys. I know a lot of you are actually really relying on me to have the show, and so that's why I'm here. It's my loyalty to myself because I have this goal, but also my very close second is you guys, my loyalty to all of you, to give you my kind of crazy Heyoka wisdom, doing my best to impart it. So, okay, Schumann Resonance tonight is, in Italy, they said at 9 a.m., the activity that started yesterday in the last part of the chart continued at low but constant levels. So far, there's not been a calm period, even if the maximum peaks have only reached 17 hertz. And then they did a 1:30 in the afternoon report. So at 13:30, they say at 8 UTC, quite suddenly started a powerful activity that after an initial peak at 37, just before 11 UTC, led to a powerful 68 hertz at 13 UTC. Then at 1700 report, the evening report, they say, the activity is continuing even if the duration of the peaks is lower. At the highest peak of today, at 68 hertz, others followed, all higher than 55 hertz frequency. Since 10:30 UTC today, the average has been above 40 hertz. That was the Italian report. Now we're going to go over here and see what we can see on Heart Math Institute, because this one is really weird and interesting. So while it's heating up and getting a little active over there in Italy, what's going on in California, and actually 3 of these cities are going to maybe surprise you. It surprised me when I looked earlier. I took a peek without you guys. Sorry, I had to know. I saw this chart as I was queuing up the page. I'm like, what? That was very weird. So this is what's happening in California at midnight. You guys started off at 165 hertz frequency, and by 4 a.m. you went down to 152. Now in Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, you guys started off at 91 hertz frequency at midnight, and by 4 a.m., 88 hertz frequency. 88 is another master number, also an angel number, and that's a very good one. Okay, so Lithuania started off at 39 hertz frequency at midnight and went down to 0 by 4 a.m. That's surprise number 1. Okay. And, well, the third surprise is no surprise. It's what's been happening for a week. But Alberta, Canada started off at 231 hertz frequency at midnight and went down to 216 hertz frequency by 4 a.m. And Northland, New Zealand started off at 20 hertz frequency at midnight. Wait a minute, maybe I have this wrong. Yeah, 20 hertz frequency at midnight. And by 4 a.m. they were, surprise number 2, at 0. So Lithuania, Northland, New Zealand, and Honolulu, South Africa has not moved or budged an inch. They've been at a steady, solid 0 hertz frequency. So those 3 places were at 0 by 4 a.m. Crazy, right? I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I'm just putting the numbers out there because I find it very interesting that this is happening. All right. We are in A Course in Miracles, acim.org. We're on lesson 82, so we're still in our review phase. So we're going to review 2 lessons. Number 1 is from lesson 63. We're reviewing this idea. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. So some of the suggestions of applying the idea is, let peace extend from my mind to yours, and then you name the person. I share the light of the world with you, then you name the person. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Again, the main review idea is the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Lesson 64 is, let me not forget my function. Let me not forget my function. Suitable forms of this idea are, let me not use this to hide my function from me. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. This may threaten my ego, but cannot change my function in any way. Let me not forget my function. All right, guys, when I come back, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I am going to be channeling Michael Sherhan of the Plieadians right after this. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. All right, guys, I am here. I'm connected with Michael Sherhan. I'm taking off my sweater, my outer sweater, because I always get so hot when I channel. So I don't have to do it later. All right. I'm connected with Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command, and I'm going to telepath with him as he wanted to come and give a message to you guys today. I don't know what this is about. I usually don't. I am an indirect channel, which means I do telepath. I don't allow a being to take over my body, because obviously beings can lie. And plus, I'm barely comfortable in my own body. Why do I want someone else in here? Anyway, I'm going to let you guys know whatever it is that he says, but if I feel like I'm not really hearing him clearly, I will stop. I will take a pause, and I'll use muscle testing, kinesiology, to try to get a more clear answer. So I always double check. I check and double check, and even sometimes if I go a little bit slower or I say a word and I pause for a minute, usually I'm doing muscle testing just to make sure that I'm hearing it clear and everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing during the channel. So here we go. I've already said my ki asha, saying that 3 times and touching your forehead will open up your third eye. I do that so that not only can I hear him better, also I might see any images that he's sending me, so I could get an idea across a little more clear. So, okay, here we go. Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command of the Plieadian Light Forces. Am I connected with you? Very good. Muscle testing says yes. Hi, Michael. I'm happy to have you here on Metaphysical Soul Speak. Once again, thank you so much for contacting me and wanting to be channeled today. He says, thank you, Elena, for having me here on the show. And greetings to all of the people that are listening. We have some great news for you guys today. Our news is that you have only a little bit left. You have almost arrived. You are very, very, very close to being finished and complete with your transformations. We have seen all of the hard work that you have been doing, and we are really pleased with how far you've come in a relatively short amount of time for this momentous and monumental task that you have undertaken. We are completely thrilled that we got to be a part of this and watch you, and to see some of you wake up and become aware of spiritual stuff and then grow so rapidly in such a short period of time. Some of you in only 2 to 4 years' time gained spiritual knowledge that some people take 40 or 60 years to learn. And for this, we wish to commend you. You are doing a terrific job. We are always with you, surrounding the planet. Usually we are cloaked, then sometimes we show our light ships. We wish for greater communication, but it hasn't quite yet been the time. But we are working on it. We are always beaming light and reflecting light your way from the grand central sun through the portal of your own sun. We are always sending the highest vibration energies that we can to help accelerate your growth. We are so excited for you, and we see what it is that you are becoming, and it's a sight to behold. It's glorious, and you don't understand what it is quite yet, but you are about to. We always thought it would be a few years out. We see in the next 2 to 3 months now that you'll be fully anchored in to the 5th dimension. We are so happy, and we want to live near you guys in a spiritual way. And what we mean by this is that we hope that in time we can sit physically with you and be with you and answer your questions and be as brothers and sisters to you. We are very genetically close to your species, the human race, and the Plieadians are very, very close genetically. For those of you that are wondering right now, and we could see that some of you are going to wonder in the future, yes, we actually could breed together. We literally could have children together. And that's pretty exciting because we've seen a lot of your movies about your ideas of what your extraterrestrials or aliens would look like. And at least for our part, us, we look a lot like you. We don't have tentacles. We don't have eyeballs dangling off of our heads. We don't look like octopus heads on a humanoid form. We've seen a lot of what your imagery is in this arena because we were very curious as to what your ideas would be. What would others look like? And there are others that look a lot different than all of us, but for the most part, we look a lot like you. We tend to look a lot more blonde or Nordic type, but we all have different shades of skin like you do. Sometimes our hair is more red or more brunette. It's not always blonde like the way that many of your artists have drawn and portrayed us. We are very, very, very much like the human race. And that's why we have made it a point that we possibly might become one of your first points of contact when you hit the center of the fifth dimension, as it were, when you are fully anchored in. We want you to understand that you should not be afraid, at least not from us. We want to teach you our meditation techniques. We want to teach you our understanding of science and how this universe works from our perspective. Maybe we will collaborate in a way where we can both come to a greater understanding of how this universe works and how this dimension works. We believe that there are different laws, universal laws or laws of science in every dimension. We have been fascinated by the scientific laws that your human race has discovered and determined over the past several centuries. And we love to go back and see in the beginning what you believed, even if it was erroneous or false. We like to see that because it's interesting to us to see the growth that the human race has made. From living in caves to now living in apartments, and you have electricity and electronics, and you project light everywhere. You project light when you are calling each other on the phone. That's a form of electricity and a form of light. And there's also rays and beams of energy. And we see other workings of this that beyond what your sight or your hearing is perceiving, we see greater things. And even though many of you complain about technology, we are happy that you're beaming light all over your planet. But the problem in some cases is that the lights that you're beaming are negative in content. So even light is light and light is neutral, the way that water is water and water is neutral. It's what you add to it, the energy, the words, the thought patterns and ideas. That's what takes shape and what takes form in the world around you, what you pay attention to. So, for example, we know about Netflix. We see that you will watch a show on Netflix, and if you watch a feel-good show and it makes you feel good, maybe makes you cry a little because your heart is opening a little when you watch certain shows or movies. And then we see some of you will watch horror movies. And to be honest, we are really perplexed at this. Why would you want to watch something very, very, very scary? And the only answer we could come up with is that you are addicted to your own hormones. You are addicted to your adrenaline. You're addicted to the emotions that things make you feel. Fear. Some of you are still addicted to fear. It is this that we wish to address, because it's quite the opposite of love. It's the opposite end of the spectrum. So we are worried that even though you're meditating part of the day, you're undoing your good high vibrational energy with looking at lower vibrational imagery and messages. Even if it's a fantasy and you enjoy it, you're enjoying it for the wrong reasons. We're not saying that you need to listen to only the most boring of programming. We're not saying that at all. But we think that if you are to continue in this habit, perhaps you need a much more solid form of protecting your psyche, your aura, your chakras, your mental and emotional bodies, your spirit body. You might have to meditate longer to achieve the same vibration that you lost by watching the show. And we know that you're addicted to it. You enjoy it. It hits many points. Many different emotions are fulfilled sometimes. Some of you are lonely and you watch TV shows about people who are friends. And you enjoy these shows on friends and friendship because it makes you feel a little bit less lonely. It gives you hope that perhaps you will find a group like this someday, or it gives you the emotional satisfaction of living vicariously through stories that are told through acting, through actors. We just want to be here now saying this as a gentle reminder that you need to take good care of all parts of yourself, not just your physical body and your physical needs, but the needs of your soul, your psyche. You have to keep your vibration very high in order to stay fully anchored in the fifth dimension. And by no means are we saying that we are your Netflix police. We're not saying that we're your parents. We're not your spouse. We're not telling you what to do. But we are suggesting that you try everything in your power to constantly protect your psyche. You can still watch Netflix all you wish, but we want you to consider the damage that you're doing to your own energy fields and how you lower your own vibration. And when you watch the horror shows, shows that involve a great deal of violence, violent images, and violent language, actions. We want not to mention what these specifically entail, but some of you do watch these kinds of movies and shows. And we can see energy fields. We've been doing this a very long time, and we see that your energy fields go low, very low. Your vibration goes low, and you might not be aware of it at the moment. Maybe you'll go to bed and then you'll wake up in a negative mood, maybe angry or sad, depressed, or just filled with fear or rage. It's because your energy field, when it's low, attracts low things. When your energy field is high, it attracts high vibrational things. We wish for you the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. We've heard all of your earth sayings. We love earth culture, to be honest. We have loved all of you for so long, long before you even knew that we existed. So when we say these things to you, we're not trying to control or manipulate you or your habits. We are just trying to get you to a point where you understand what loving yourself truly is. Keeping your body as pure as possible, your energy fields as pure as possible, and your mind and your psyche as pure as possible. We really care a great deal about your people. If we weren't, if we didn't care, we wouldn't be here. So, okay, are you good? Okay, I'm sorry guys, I have to stop for a second. Michael, you're saying andara crystal? Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about andara crystals. I'm gonna change. I gotta take the frog off. That was hilarious. Here we go. Stop with the frog already. Okay. All right. So there have been a lot of talk about the andara crystals, the monatomic crystals. There has been a lot of talk that they were slag glass. There's been a lot of talk that they're overly priced, but it's just glass runoff from bottle factories, and they're being sold as new age mumbo jumbo. And there have been talks about the andara crystals being very low vibration. There have been talks of the andara crystals being inhabited by demons or evil beings. And we want to give you a word of caution that all of the above are true, but also are true is that there are andara crystals that will help to enlighten and increase your energy fields. So if you're guided, you have to feel it first before you buy it. Hold it in your hand and feel the energy fields of it. Use a pendulum. Use muscle testing. Use all of the tools that I know you have to determine whether or not something is evil or even real. You might get an evil piece of glass. Or you might get a benevolent andara monatomic crystal. But even though these things do exist, some of them are not so good and some of them are very good. And even the ones that are real andara crystals, they can be inhabited by evil spirits or malevolent beings or forces, just the same way as any one of your normal quartz crystals could be. Some of you even have demons and negative beings in your cars and radios. The ghost in the machine. So, there have been positive and negative in your world a long time. But what we wanted to say to you about this crystals and andara crystals, if you're feeling anxious and excited over this in a way that you're afraid, in a way that you're feeling pressured by so many videos talking about it and so many websites and people, and it's like the new buzzword, it's the latest thing. We wanted to tell you and reassure you, you don't need anything outside of yourself to ascend. You don't need to go buy crystals or rocks. You don't have to have a notebook that you turn into a journal. If that's not you, that's not you. You don't have to burn incense to find God. You don't have to pray in a certain way. You don't have to bow in a certain direction in order to know your own true divinity. You don't need to go to bed or wake up at a certain time or meditate at a certain time to know that you are God. There's many times that people that are growing awake on a daily basis spiritually, they will be told by other people who are just a little bit farther on the path ahead of them, oh, well, you have to have an abalone shell with sage burning in it to purify your space. And we're here to tell you, you can do this with your own mind. You don't need outer accoutrements. You don't need the things. You don't need to build a circle around you. You don't have to draw a pentagram. You don't have to do anything, because you're in the fifth dimension now. You are a powerful spiritual being coming into your own and accepting your own light. You are accepting who you are. You are learning who you are. You have infinite abilities and powers in many different directions if you wish. You can tap into the power of anything if you want to. But for those of you who wish to use andara crystals or incense, or only wear white clothing when you're meditating, or a robe in a corner, whatever it is that you need, that you think you need, that's okay. We have no judgment on any of these. And if you're a person who says you don't need anything, again, why would we judge this? We wouldn't. We just want you to know that, what if you're very, very poor? You don't have any money, and you can't go and you can't afford to spend thousands of dollars on the things that other people have to make themselves feel more spiritual. Does that make you less spiritual? Of course it does not. Because maybe you were so spiritual that you chose a life of poverty to learn its lessons. Maybe you chose to live a life in the middle of the road, financially speaking, to learn those lessons. And maybe you chose to be rich. Maybe you're a self-made man or a self-made woman because you wanted to learn those lessons. Maybe you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth because you wanted to learn those lessons. Spirituality is available free for everybody in every walk of life, in every culture, regardless of skin color or how they grew up religiously, with or without religion, Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Hindu. You can sing, and that could be how you raise your vibration. You don't need outward things. Many of you choose it because it's fun. And having fun, we're Plieadians. We're all about having fun. We love to have fun and be joyful. But you don't need anything outside of yourself to feel these things. We don't wish for anyone to feel bad about their spiritual path when they look upon websites or videos and they see people with all these huge crystals and special jewelry. And if you only wear this, you'll tap into the Plieadian command, or you'll tap into the Plieadian energy fields. And this is Plieadian technology. You won't live without it. We don't. If you're wealthy and you want to buy these things because you think they're pretty trinkets and they might go good with an outfit, go ahead. But if you need us and our energy to help you, just ask. You don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on Plieadian light jewelry when we are here at the ready, wanting and willing to help you for free. You don't need outward forms to achieve your highest, best spirituality. To achieve your highest, best good, you do not need a rock or a necklace or a candle or a pile of salt. You don't need anything outside of yourself, because that's not what makes you powerful as a spiritual, mature spiritual being. What makes you powerful as a mature spiritual being is the force of your will that you gained and earned by meditating and focusing every day, even if it's for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You will gain bigger strides and anchor yourselves into the fifth dimension in a much grander, faster way just by meditating, sitting still, sitting quietly, closing your eyes and looking at your third eye, and taking deep breaths and making those breaths deliberate. Being extremely aware of every ounce of air you pull into your lungs, and being aware of how long you hold that in your lungs, that air. Being aware when you release the air and watching the energy dissipate that was holding you back, because that's what breathing does for you. It cleanses all of your subtle energy bodies. We wish for you to remember to keep your spines as straight as possible. If you have a curvature in your spine, don't worry about it. We wish for you to pull in air through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, because that will bring the opportunity to your lungs to release more toxins when you breathe out through your mouth. We know that there are different breathing techniques for different things. That's what the very basic one we're telling you now is breathe in through your nose to pull in the good prana energy, and the nasal passages bring the energy all the way down the column, the Sushumna, that comes down all the way to your tailbone and back up again. That's when you breathe in, you're bringing in positive white light that contains all the colors of the rainbow. And you need that for all of your chakras in each individual cell. Because now that you are fifth dimensional beings, each individual cell has light needs. Have you ever not done a lot of heavy breathing and shallow breathing while you meditate and you feel light-headed? Have you ever noticed that word light-headed? You're filling your head in with light when you meditate and breathe shallow. Yeah, ooh, you guys, I feel a difference. You will feel light-bodied when you pull in light through your whole body. Imagine it going all the way to your toes when you pull it in through your nose. From your nose to your toes. And then breathe it out, and all the negativity, there it goes. In with the positive, out with the negative. In with the new, out with the old. Many of you have already figured this out. But we're here again as a gentle reminder that if you take several deep breaths throughout the day, you're going to feel a lot better. And it's going to help you anchor in to the fifth dimension, that much faster and that much more, well, solidly, even though your body's becoming less dense. We're going to still use the word solidly. Anytime any one of you wishes to be in our presence, just ask. You can say, Plieadians, please be with me, and we will do our best to make ourselves known to you. And we'll answer questions. If you are now telepathic, you have to let go of all the 3D stuff in order to be able to grasp onto your new abilities and your new sense organs. Did you guys know that in your fifth dimensional blueprint body, you have sense organs that you did not have in your third dimensional body? New systems are coming online every day with you. That's one reason why you're so tired, or you feel the pain. Or sometimes you don't feel pain and you don't feel tired, but you feel irritable. All of this is a part of the big journey that you're on. It's a part of the process. Love the journey. Love your body. Love your heart and mind. Feel grateful, and gratitude will permeate every inch of your world. You are living in a holographic universe. There are layers to every dimension. And if you imagine that there are many, many, many layers, like energetic walls all around you, in every direction, top, bottom, north, east, west, south. You notice that if you can see with your third eye or your quantum vision, you're going to be very aware of the power of your energy in each individual layer of the fabric of the universe that surrounds you. There are infinite possibilities, of course, but you will hurt your own blessings if you don't keep your energy field clear and clean as much as possible. We're not just saying this because it's a Virgo new moon. We're saying this because it's always true, every day of your life. We are constantly sending you light. We expect you to send yourself light. And in time, you will know us as your brothers and sisters. We are the Ashtar Command. And I am Michael Sherhan. I wanted to thank you for inviting me into your lives today and into your hearts and minds, because you are always in mine. We are always praying for you guys. For you, my brothers and sisters, we are always praying for you. We always wish the greatest possible outcome for all of you. We must leave now, but we wanted to let you know that we see you, we feel you, we see your struggles, we know your pain and sorrows, but we also triumph in your joys. We shout and hoot and holler at every victory. We're so grateful that many of you have already allowed us into your lives, in your hearts and minds, and you send us love. We feel it. We know. We're so grateful. It helps us to know we're on the right path. And we know that we're always going to be here to help our human brothers and sisters. So this is Michael Sherhan of the Ashtar Command of the Plieadian Light Forces. I'm signing off now because I have things to do. I am the commander of the ship after all. But always what we're doing is in service of humanity. We're sending you our love and our light, now and forevermore. Peace. All right, guys. All right, so that was Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command and the Plieadian Light Forces. There are thousands of ships that have been UFOs. They look, usually, sometimes they're round. They have bigger ships that are round and smaller ships that are triangular in shape. I took a picture one day and I saw a cloud that looked like almost like a triangle with rounded edges, and that was one of the Plieadian ships I discovered later. I'm like, well, that's a weird looking cloud. And then later I'm like, oh, they're so cloaked. But if you look around for the little balls of white light, or they're up in the, near the clouds, like the puffy white clouds, you'll see sometimes they look silver, and sometimes you'll see them as triangular shaped, but they're not angular on the ends, they're more rounded. Those are all Plieadian. So, and the Arcturians are enormous rectangular craft. And they're very, very cloaked within the clouds. And I've taken pictures of them too. Only one do I have of the, as far as I know, of the Plieadians. But Michael Sherhan has been with me because I've asked him months ago to come and help me understand some things and figure out some things, and could I please hang out with him sometimes. And so I have had energy downloads from them and upgrades. And while I'm speaking to you guys, oh hey, it's 222. I said the word 2 and I looked up and it's 222. I believe that number came up yesterday, maybe 2 times. Pretty cool. Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying now, but oh yeah, I asked them if they would come and help me, and I felt 3 or 4 Plieadian beings with me, even though I can't see with my physical eyes. If I close my eyes, I could see with my third eye sometimes, and I could feel with my heart when they're with me, and they're just very loving and very kind, as if, you know, maybe your family, the people in your family that you love a lot, walked into the room and you expected them to come into your room, and they're going to come and like maybe give you a hug or something. It's that kind of an energy. I felt them. You know, they don't abduct people. They don't do anything. That's another race. That's not the Plieadians. They don't take people. They don't inject us with stuff. They don't shove things up our nose and make our nose bleed. Like, I don't even know what group did that to me a few days ago. I'm like, man, right before I went on, I got a nosebleed, and I realized I was missing an hour worth of time. But I know I figured out what it was that they put in my nose, but it was a crystal to help keep my vibration very high. Yeah. And I've had a couple things like this happen with the, you know, they want to keep me up there. And I don't know, I mean, some people are abducted, some people aren't. And I have a feeling that those of us that are being abducted by, not the Plieadians, other beings, that have some sort of a soul agreement with them. And also, we might be from that world, or maybe we lived on that world for a time. I have a feeling that most of the people that are being abducted are starseeds anyway. Meaning that our souls started off on a different planet, and then we came here. But the Plieadians are very benevolent. They are very loving. They have had a role to play in many of our cultures. If you go and listen to Kryon, Kryon, Kryon.com. You could go to YouTube and listen to the channeled messages. Kryon is a group of beings, light beings and masters that are, I think that they're all passed to the other side, but maybe not. I'm not really sure. I think they're all passed to the other side, and they're kind of guiding humanity through. Lee Carroll is the channeler. And so, but there are many people, many different races in the group, not just humans, in Kryon. And they've never steered humanity wrong, and they've been around since the 80s. He's been channeling since the 1980s. So you could go hear those messages. They're channeled, and he's a direct channel. They take over his body. It's pretty wild. And even his voice changes. It's pretty crazy. I think my voice gets a little deeper maybe, but I'm not being overtaken by them. I just am trying to feel their energy field, and it's in every being that you channel feels different. Anyway, just that was a little bit about the Plieadians. They helped build the pyramids. They helped build the several of our civilizations. Easter Island, the Plieadians were there. There's Plieadian energy there all over the planet. In Atlantis, for sure, there's Plieadian energy there. In Mu, where Hawaii is now, there used to be a much bigger continent there. They're there. Their energy is there, and for people who've been open to it, they've given certain healing techniques. It's been very interesting with the Plieadians. They love us very much, as you could tell. They are just like our big brothers and sisters in the sky, our space brothers. And a lot of native tribes around the world talk about the space brothers coming. And I believe that a lot of times it's the Plieadians that they've been talking about. Other races too, but the ant people. There's been a lot of different races that have helped us, but the Plieadians are, in my opinion, they're true blue. I feel their energy. And I've popped in and out of their world, in and out of their ships, meditating, and then all of a sudden, boop, I'm in their ship, and then boop, I'm back in my bed. I'm like, wait, something weird just happened. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm getting sleepy. I need to go take a nap, which is known as night sleep, I guess, right? It's not really a nap. A nap is a couple hours long or a couple minutes long, and I need to go sleep for a good 7-8 hours. Anyway, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being here on this journey with me and being my listener. If you have any comments or questions or anything at all you want to discuss, if you want a reading from me, not only do I offer tarot, I also offer conversations with your deceased loved ones. I could, if they're available, I can channel them for you. I can also channel your higher self if you haven't learned how to do that yet, to have a conversation with God. I could do that for you, a private one, and I would do that for the same price as a tarot reading, and that's in the description of the show. So, metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. Also, if you have any ideas for upcoming episodes, anything you want to hear about, something you're curious about. There's so many topics in the field of psychology or spirituality, metaphysics, weird paranormal. We don't have enough weird and paranormal episodes lately, so if you have an idea, like the Green Children of Woolpit, that was a fun episode. I liked that. The different colored people that were, some people were blue, some are green, some are silver and purple. That was a really fun episode. So I don't know, I haven't done a lot of paranormal either lately. So good ghost stories or UFO stories. If you guys have some information that you want to part with me, or part to me, is that right? If you want to part with and tell to me, just write me or send me a voice message, anchor.fm/metaphysical. That works too. So that's it for now, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, as always. But tomorrow is our Science of Getting Rich, Part 3. And if you heard the first part, you didn't quite hear the second one yet, or maybe you're just waiting to hear them all at once. I have a feeling when I'm finished with all of the books, a lot of you are going to just binge listen to the whole book at once. And either way you want to do it, you might want to listen to it in little chunks to digest it more, and then go back and binge listen for a refresher. However you want to do it is okay. But tomorrow it's part 3 of Wallace D. Wattles' 1910 classic, The Science of Getting Rich. And it's all from a very deep metaphysical way of thinking. So if you haven't heard it, the first one was 2 weeks ago. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I can say about that. I'm getting tired. I love you. But I'm signing off now with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Until next time, peace. Hi guys, I know that it's summertime, it's August, I was born in August, and I know this is a hot, hot month, especially if you're in the United States, and now we've sent the hotness over to Europe. So if you are enjoying the summer heat, but you're not enjoying what it's doing to your skin, I may have a solution for you. CTFO, known for its high-quality CBD oil hemp products. CTFO stands for Change the Future Outcome. Of course, this is changing the future outcome of your skin, your life, and, well, maybe your pocketbook if you decide to join the business for absolutely free. And the link is provided for the products and the business right in this show's description. I just wanted to let you know real quick that CTFO has a brand new full spectrum CBD oil, hemp oil infused SPF 30 sunscreen. So this looks amazing. This is really going to help you out with those fine lines, dark spots, and skin aging that normally would occur if you did not use any protection at all. As you know, CBD oil does help against free radicals. It helps get rid of wrinkles. It reverses skin conditions such as ruddiness, breakouts, and also inflammation in the skin. So this is a gentle, sheer formula enriched with antioxidants, and it protects all skin types as well as being water resistant. We also have a new After Sun skincare cream filled with vitamin D, and as you know, your skin would love to absorb the vitamin D, not just from the sun, but also from the cream after you're out of the sun. Remember, we talked about a couple weeks ago how vitamin D can help you absorb things like magnesium, potassium, vitamin C, and it goes down to the bone and it makes you so healthy. Vitamin D is excellent. And here it's this cream, this After Sun skincare cream has loads of vitamin D. So if you want to check it out, yeah, if you don't want to, that's cool. If you want to check it out, there is a link in the show's description. Just wanted to let you guys know.